Okay, this is Willow Becher. This is early May 2009. You know, Willow, even though this is probably your weakest stroke, it's really far ahead of where it was at this point last year. And one of the things I like is you're really looking to get that vertical forearm and that butterfly. The problem is that you're driving your hands down so deep, rather than trying to be flat and a straight line across the water, you're almost like a sine wave. And, you know, your whole body is submerging. We need to try to keep that flatter and try to keep our hips up so they're consistently up. Instead of driving our hands down, setting our hands softly into the water on the just outside the shoulder, and then getting the elbow up and really a good, strong, hard pull back, like a freestyle pull where we're trying to get the elbows up. If you look at the YouTube channel and you take a look at the some of the videos I've highlighted, take a look at that multi-angle video of Michael Phelps, and you can really see that higher elbow position I'm talking about, and you can compare that to what you're doing. If we can get that done, a lot of things come into place, because why you're struggling right now is because of that low elbow position combined with the depth on the pull, and that makes your whole body slow down. Rather than skipping on top of the water, you're like a submarine going through the water. Into the backstroke, pretty good dolphin kick. I think you're a little deep here. We don't need to go at quite such an inverted arc as you go underwater. And I like what you're doing. I like how deep your hands are here. The one thing we could do is get our tempo up a little bit more and try to lead with your hand a little bit more. Right now I think you're leading a little bit with your elbow. Again, you can see that real deep exit off that wall. If we can be shallower, it's better for us. And I think that your kick looks really, really good, but it doesn't need to go quite so deep. It's starting to become less propulsive and more drag. We don't want drag in the kick. Over the water, I think this looks good. You're moving an awful lot of water. And your shoulders, for the most part, aren't dragging that much water through. But we could stand to still get that shoulder rotated a little bit more, I think. Just maybe roll the head of the shoulder up out of the water and keep it out as your hands go in. You can kind of see your shoulder picking up a fair amount of water. It's not that bad. It's a minor thing. The bigger issues, though, are maybe making the kick smaller, and that'll make it a little bit faster as well, and then trying to lead more with your hand and less with your elbow. Into the breaststroke. Don't need to do those flutter kicks, but you know that. Coming up here, throwing the hands forward, that's good. But look at how your elbows push down and your elbows are below your hands. Never want to have our elbows below our hands or our wrists in breaststroke. It's like you're pushing the water away from you. When your hands sweep in and you're getting ready to extend them, just keep the elbows up, and it's going to take some strength on your part to do this, to get those out. Every time you do that, it's like you're putting on the brakes. The timing of the stroke is very good, but that elbow placement is hurting you. The other thing is we want to try and get your back lined up. It almost looks like you're hyperextending through the stroke a little bit. You're hyperextending your back, meaning your back has a pronounced curve in it. You can kind of see that here. What we're trying to do is get that so when you kick, it looks like you're kicking through a streamline. And that's where, you know, every once in a while we do that drill where we lay on the deck and you try to connect your whole body to the deck as you raise your hands over it. That's a great thing to think about as you extend forward and try to kick out for that breaststroke. That's something we want to try to do. The kicks come a long way. The knees are a little wide. We can stand to keep those in a little bit more, but again, the big issue here, getting those elbows up above the hands so we can dive in and pierce the water versus kind of flopping into it. Into the freestyle. Look at your right hand, how it goes in, and your fingertips go up. Your left hand does it to some degree too. You never really get the elbow up on top of the water. It falls in and it's in a straight line and it drives down, and then you kind of pull with it. You're pulling with the inside of your elbow versus lifting up the elbow and physically letting the elbow rotate so your hand comes down underneath it. There's a significant difference in that, and the way I'm describing it, where you let your hand come down and rotate the elbow up, that's a lot more powerful. Over the water, I think you look pretty good. Winging that right arm in a little bit, you can kind of see how it's dropping in front of your face. You want to set that in front of the shoulder. It's a better way to be for that. But the extension is good, the length of the stroke is good, and the strength of the stroke is good, especially that nice steady kick. That's what we want. Nice job, Willow.